Welcome to the Boom Squad. Mark my words, this channel is blowing up one way or another. Either it's going to blow up in a good way and get so big that YouTube doesn't want to ban it, or YouTube's going to continue its ongoing demolition of channels like mine. Either way, Act 17 Apologetics YouTube channel is about to go boom. YouTube obviously plays a role in what happens, but so do we. For the past year or so, I've been studying YouTube, figuring out strategies and tactics which are going to be implemented next year, not only on my channel, but on other channels as well. The goal is an online information empire. Unfortunately, while I've been plotting, so has YouTube. This year, more than any prior year, YouTube has been showing its political teeth, banning content and banning creators. YouTube is on fairly shaky ground here because it's not supposed to be biased. Most of us used to think that because YouTube is a business, it's free to ban anyone it wants to ban. That view turned out to be false. YouTube, like other social media giants, has been given a special status by the US government. It's considered a platform rather than a publisher. If YouTube were a publisher, it would have gone out of business years ago. Why is that? Well, let's think about publishers. If a journalist writes an article that appears in the New York Times, and the article contains false statements that damage a person's reputation, the person who's been libeled can sue not only the journalist, but also the New York Times for publishing the false statement. The New York Times is a publisher. CNN is a publisher. Fox News is a publisher. They're responsible for the content on their sites, and therefore they can be sued for the content on their sites. Now, think about YouTube videos or tweets or Facebook posts. Anyone can post a false statement that damages a person's reputation. So, can the person who's been libeled on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook sue YouTube or Twitter or Facebook? No, because YouTube and Twitter and Facebook claim that they're platforms, not publishers. They're not deciding what content is on their sites. They're simply providing an open forum for other people to post their content. So they don't have the same sort of editorial responsibility that publishers have. This is how YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook avoid being sued. But this status as a platform comes with a cost. They're not supposed to be politically biased. They're not supposed to enforce the rules of the platform in an unfair way. If the sites are politically biased, if they selectively enforce their rules in order to ban certain content creators because of their political views, then they're not simply platforms. They're publishers, and they should lose their status as a platform. Now, unless you've been living on Mars for the past 5 years, you know that all of the major social media sites are horribly biased and that they selectively enforce the rules in order to ban content that they don't like. If they don't like something you post, they can even accuse you of breaking a rule when you didn't. And there's nothing you can do about it because your appeal goes to them. So YouTube is living a double life. It stands before the government of the United States and says, I'm only a neutral platform, an open forum, so you have to protect me from being sued. Then it turns to us and says, you'd better make sure your views line up with ours because we're coming after you if you don't. YouTube wants all the protections of being a platform with all the power of being a publisher. But in order to do this, YouTube has to put on a show. They can't say, we're banning this video because it makes fun of Muhammad. They have to say, we're banning this video because it contains hate speech, and this platform has rules against hate speech. This allows them to pretend that they're simply enforcing rules when they're targeting content they don't like. It's only a matter of time before a bunch of channels get together and take this to court and force YouTube to explain how all these videos that clearly don't violate any rules were somehow mistakenly banned by the YouTube Trust and Safety Team. YouTube knows this, so YouTube is obviously going to look for new rules that they can selectively enforce in order to ban content that they don't like. And that's exactly what's happening now. Content creators are in an uproar over a new addition to the terms of service. This goes into effect on December 10th. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes, in its sole discretion, that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Did you catch that? If YouTube believes, in its sole discretion, that your channel is no longer commercially viable, it can close your account. Now, why on earth would YouTube want to start closing accounts that aren't making them money? Most of the users on YouTube aren't making money for YouTube, so why this rule now? Well, think about it. When YouTube doesn't like your videos because your videos are on the wrong side of some political or moral or religious issue, what does YouTube do? YouTube starts demonetizing your content. The site does this more and more over time. Once your content is demonetized because YouTube doesn't like your content, YouTube can then delete your channel. If you complain and say, hey, I make controversial content and YouTube deleted my channel because of my views, YouTube can reply, we didn't delete your channel because of your views. We deleted your channel because it's no longer commercially viable. Well, why is the channel no longer commercially viable? Because YouTube demonetized it. So YouTube is coming up with creative ways of steering content in a particular direction while still being able to insist that it's simply a neutral platform. Now, I have mixed feelings about what to do here. Part of me wants to say, screw you, YouTube. If you want to ban me, let's get it over with. That's when I end up making videos like Muhammad meets YouTube's trust and safety team. The thought here is that if we can see which direction the site is going and we know we're ultimately going to be banned, why keep building channels that are simply going to be taken down? So when Facebook started messing with me, suspending me for posts that clearly didn't violate any rules, I got off Facebook. When Twitter started messing with me for posts that clearly didn't violate any rules, I stopped using Twitter. I kind of feel the same way about YouTube. Stop banning us slowly and just get it over with. But at the same time, I believe we are in the middle of a revolution and that a tech tyranny is being established and that there are people who are working tirelessly to control what we are and are not allowed to say, and that we need to be very careful and very smart about how we respond, and that we need to pay careful attention to the moves they're making, and that we need to anticipate where they're heading, and that we need to block their moves whenever possible. Interestingly, YouTube just gave a bunch of channels away to block one of the deceptive moves they're making. YouTube said that it can terminate any account that's no longer commercially viable, even though YouTube is responsible for making channels commercially unviable by demonetizing their content. So it's pretty clear what YouTube is doing here. But YouTube just gave a ton of channels, basically all channels that meet certain requirements, including mine, the option of setting up channel memberships. Channel memberships are where you sign up as a channel member. You get a badge by your name in the comments. You get access to custom emojis. You get perks like members-only community forums and so on. But there's a monthly fee. Most of the revenue goes to the content creator and supports the channel directly, while YouTube takes a percentage. So YouTube wants to make money. However, this also gives us the ability to block one of YouTube's latest moves. If a bunch of people sign up for channel memberships, then not only does that support the channel, it also ensures that the channel is commercially viable and that YouTube can't use the new terms of service to shut it down. So, if there are YouTube channels that you like and you see a channel membership option come up for those channels, I strongly recommend that you click the join button and sign up for some level of support. That doesn't guarantee the safety of the channel, but it makes it a little more difficult for YouTube to shut them down. I normally tell people who want to support my work that they can do that on Patreon or Subscribestar, but I now also have channel memberships so that I can make sure my channel is commercially viable. Now, if finances are tight for you, please do not support my channel financially. You can support my channel for free by liking videos, commenting on them, and sharing them. But if things are going well for you financially, please sign up as a channel member of Acts 17 Apologetics and of any other channel you like that's being targeted. As I mentioned, I have mixed feelings about what to do here. Again, part of me wants to be careful and make smart moves and make sure that a handful of tech tyrants do not control what we can and cannot say. So I try to make smart moves to block their moves. But another part of me just wants to say, screw you, YouTube, do your worst. So when YouTube said that I can upload custom emojis that my channel members can use in the chat, I uploaded all custom emojis of the Prophet Muhammad. I call them emojis. Get it? Emojis. Vocab came up with that one. I was only allowed to upload 4 emojis to get started, but I can upload more based on the number of channel memberships I get. Believe me when I say that nothing would crack me up more than seeing a bunch of Prophet Muhammad emojis in the chat whenever I go live. YouTube's obviously going to take them away at some point, but it'll be fun while it lasts. And when they take away our emojis, it will be further evidence of YouTube's bias. So, click the join button and become members of your favorite channels, and welcome to the Boom Squad. If we can somehow keep YouTube off our backs, this channel is going from 400,000 to 1 million, guaranteed.